Hi, everyone. My name is Sherry Perry, and I am the creator and administrator of the Facebook group Appalachian Spirits, Haunting, and Folklore. I thought that I would start a YouTube channel to be able to tell some of my favorite ghost stories and maybe have some guests guests on the channel discussing their favorite stories as well. Um, what I would like to talk about tonight is a haunted nursing home that I used to work at. It's located um, near here in the town of Milton, West Virginia. It's no longer a nursing home. It shut down in the 2000s, early 2000s, but it is now being renovated and it will be a resort in the next couple of years. But this nursing home is in a beautiful sandstone building. It was originally built as a polio hospital. Um, a man named John Morris had a nephew who had polio, and he was so distressed by this that he wanted to have a good facility in the area so kids who had polio could be treated. He donated some land, and the polio hospital was built there, and it operated until Jonas Salk came out with the polio vaccine. And then, of course, it wasn't needed anymore because polio started dying out. But I worked at that nursing home for 11 years. And during those 11 years, many things happened. Um, One of the favorite stories that the nurses used to tell is about back on the south wing of the building where the dining room was, which is now the pool. Um, no, it's used to be a pool, but it wasn't. Is now in later years was used as the dining room. Um, there was also some patient rooms back there, and when we would get new patients, they would always complain about the nurse that came in the middle of the night and woke them up. Said she was dressed with the old fashioned nursing cap and the white dress and the hose and the shoes. And she would come in their room and look around and leave. And they were talking about how, that they wished she wouldn't come in there and wake them up. Well, it was none of us that was in the building because, of course, we were dressed in colorful scrubs and we hadn't worn caps in years. And this would happen over and over again when we would get a new patient. Um, we also used to have patients in these two certain rooms that used to be a larger room, and they remodeled it to be two separate rooms. But at the time that it was a large room, when the polio hospital was open, it was used as the classroom. And we would get patients in those rooms, and they would complain about the kids that were running around their beds at night, giggling and keeping them awake. Of course, there were no kids in the building, and it was the middle of the night anyway. But that would happen a lot. Um, the building had tunnels underneath it that would you could walk through the tunnels into the grounds, under the grounds, and there was a big boiler room because the building was heated with steam to keep it warm, and it was really scary down there. Just the perfect place to film a Freddy Krueger movie. Um, some of the things that happened personally to me would be doors opening and shutting when I was in a room doing something with a patient. Um, this, in on midnight shift, um, sometimes we would have trouble keeping staff on midnight shift. I remember one night that a new girl came up to the desk and said she was leaving, she was going home, and she was not ever coming back because she couldn't work in a building that had so many ghosts. She didn't give us any more explanation than that, and she left and she never came back. Um, One of the creepiest things that happened when I was there, Um, I had finished my med pass, and I had taken my med cart up to the nurse's station. And typically at that time, I would get my treatment basket and I would go out on the floor and start doing my treatment. So my aide knew my routine and she was waiting for me to get back down there. And at the time, I had a squeaky shoe. For some reason, I frequently have squeaky shoes. I don't know what the deal is with that. But she said that she heard my squeaky shoe coming and she looked out the doorway and she said she saw me with the treatment basket in my hand walk by her door and head back toward the room where I had a treatment on that end. She said that she went down to that room and I was not there. There was no other way out. I would have had to pass her again to get out. So she ran up to the nurse's station and I was still there. I had been delayed by a phone call. And she said, "Have you been down the hall?" And I said, "No, I haven't made it down there yet." And she said, "I clearly saw you with your treatment basket in your hand, and I heard your squeaky shoe." But like I said, when she got to the room, I was not there. Um, just many, many people, experience the doors opening and shutting and hearing patients that had passed on that we knew that were already gone, but we would hear them calling out or making little noises that they always used to make. But it was a beautiful building, a fascinating building. I'm glad that they didn't tear it down. I'm glad that it's being remodeled, and I can't wait till it's a resort because I will go up there and stay all night because I'm sure it'll still be haunted. Um, I also have some things that happened, when I worked in the hospital and not just at the nursing home. Um, I remember, we moved into a new unit that was newly built. We were the first unit to be on that side of the hospital. And we had, there were brand new rooms. And after we had the first patient die in the room across from the nurse's station, we started having all kinds of trouble with the call light going on. You'd go in there, there's nobody in there. Um, I was often the charge nurse and I was in clear sight of that room at all times. And, nobody was going in there and coming back out and playing a joke or anything. Um, and that would happen a lot. If you go in that room to turn off the call light, sometimes when you were in there, the paper towel dispenser would start spewing out paper towels everywhere, and that was pretty scary. I really don't know many nurses who don't have some kind of scary story. Um, I remember when I worked at the nursing home, I worked with this particular nurse who always used to laugh at all of us for telling our spooky stories. And finally, before we closed down, she did see someone. She was sitting at her nurse's station charting, and one end of her nurse's station was sliding glass doors that opened up into the grounds. And as she was sitting there charting, she saw a man walk by the window, an elderly man. And she was alarmed because she thought one of the patients had gotten outside and we didn't know about it. And she immediately jumped up and there was no one there when she got up. So after that happened, she reluctantly agreed that we had been right all that time. Um, I hope that you've enjoyed this story. It's the first video that I've done on here, so it's going to be a little rough. Um, please subscribe, and like I said, I will have guests on here from time to time, and I'm going to try to do a video every day, and hopefully we can get some good content built up on here. Thank you.